Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Well, this episode we have a very interesting question regarding emotional authority or not, and we're going to look at something that's very important in human design, and that is the language that we use. So that's going to be a good one for everyone to listen to, just to get clarity in breaking away from the mainstream and the accepted way of looking at things in order to see it in a more succinct and scientific way. And we also have a question regarding how to deal with what's coming with the sleeping phoenix. So we are going to go into the prophecy side of human design with a question that asks, who's going to have a harder job of it? So an interesting episode. Let us start with the first one with this question from Samantha. I have come to experience a sense of belonging within myself and with other individuals. Actually, I thrive on being an outsider, where I maintain proximity from groups, joining as I am invited and leaving when I feel inclined to. Even within my own family, it is liberating. The more I'm in my own energy, the more I can feel my heart opening and my creativity guiding and flowing through me effortlessly. It feels like something I can trust and is leading me where I actually want to go. This is where my question arises. As someone with an empty heart ego center who is emotionally defined, why does it feel better to lead with my heart? When I try to follow the energy of my solar plexus, I constantly feel I am committing to the wrong things and my energy was being extracted. I felt burnt out all the time. To be true, it does feel like a coherence between my heart and solar plexus, gut feelings, emotions. I suppose in a way my emotions confirm my heart's direction through calmness and peaked responses around recognition, like crying. I am someone who lives by the philosophy that there is truth wherever you find it, which means I learn a lot from all kinds of philosophies and experiences. I delve into a lot of esoteric, hermetic, and spiritual philosophies, though I have also lived and dabbled in Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, just to name a few. This is all to say that I don't put all my eggs in one basket. In other words, I do not look to one system for ultimate truth. However, I am curious as to why human beings, according to human design, are not heart-led. Many older systems, the Kabbalah, Hindu, chakras, Christianity, points to the heart as our true power center. If this question intrigues you, I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for that question, Samantha. It really gives me a chance to talk about something that's very significant for people looking into human design. And that is that we have our own language. And it is the languaging of the science, according to the keynotes and the understanding of the system, that allows us to break free from the collective accepted, generalized view of what things are. So obviously, you're going to read a lot of different things. You have a completely open head and ajna center. There isn't a single filter anywhere. So yes, it's like, well, this thought and that thought, and it passes through, and let's look at this and let's look at that. Absolutely what can happen. And it can be a very intelligent design in terms of intellectually sampling all kinds of things. But the main thing that keeps us caught in the not self is the languaging and is a base recognition of acceptance to the way everyone else views things. And human design says, well, look, actually, it's not about all of us, not about we're all going to follow something that is a religion, like Christianity, like Buddhism, like Taoism. Human design teaches that we are all particularly individual. There isn't another one like us. At a genetic level, at a design level, you can see this to be true if you go into it. So what you're describing in your languaging of the question actually shows us what is really happening. And it isn't about the heart, Because you have an idea, I imagine you have an idea about what the heart is, and it's like, I come from the heart, but you don't. That's your not self. The heart, if you look at the heart center, it has 3 channels connected to it that are all tribal. So the heartful feelings towards people of the tribe, yes, in terms of family and in terms of those that you're a part of, yes. But that's not you. There is one channel that leaves the heart center in the channel of initiation and goes into the identity. Now, that is not about community. That is not about them and us. That is about jumping free into the truth, if you want to put it that way, free into the higher truth, which is much more in alignment with what you're actually looking for and where you want to go. So what is it that is leading you? The first thing is the response. You are a manifesting generator. So the energy to respond to the way for you to move is already there, beautifully there. You have the 14, you have the 2, you have the 1, you have the 8. You're here to go into a direction that makes you happy, that is new, that is empowering, and you can be a very empowering person. I mean, you're highly, highly individual. Even your cut-off emotional system is individual through the 3955, the channel of emoting. So you are highly individual. So in that sense, let's leave the emotions for the time being. Let's just look at the direction, because you talk generally about the direction of the heart. Well, as we said, you don't have a heart center. I don't have a heart center. 65% of people in the world don't have a heart center. It is a power. It is an energy. It is an energy that is not necessarily aware either, if there's no connection to the solar plex or whatever. So it is a power, the power of the will, to willfully apply your will to whatever it is you do. And it's a very impressive power. And you don't have it. It's not about the generalized feeling of the heart is all about being lovey and dovey. And it's like, it's not about the generalized idea of heartfulness as it's generally accepted. We each show our way of being with the other according to our design. And you show your being with the other through your connection as an outsider, because you're so individual. So great that you find pleasure in being with other crazy people like yourself. You will enjoy that, and it will feel right. You're here to go in your own way through the 1-8. It's being empowered through the 14 in your own vision that you carry within you all the time. Couldn't be more direct, straight up the middle. Wow. Wow, that's impressive. Power into the manifestation of the throat, right through the middle. So yeah, you're here to have a unique life and go in your own way. But it's not coming from heart. It's coming from being able to empower others, to feel empowered by them, to recognize in them the difference that you love in them. Very different to the tribal aspect that's in the will. Now you're here to take in the conditioning from the willful people. And in those cases, you'll actually find yourself becoming more competitive, not more loving, probably. But the point is, it's a terminology, a correction that is needed for you to understand it, which is what I'm attempting now. At the same time, you say you got into all kinds of difficulties following your emotions. Well, you're not here to follow your emotions. You have emotional chemistry in you, and it opens up in the channel of emoting. And yes, you're going to make a lot of noise. Yes, you're going to cry. Yes, you're going to shout. There's all kinds of things that are going to go on when that explodes or implodes. You know, it's a very highly energized channel. And then the feelings are going to go again, because it comes and it goes. This too shall pass is the thing to remember if you're emotionally defined. It's not about feeling, it's about feeling them, but it's not about following the feelings until you get to a point of clarity, which means they do their thing, and then you're left in that aftermath of processing what's just gone through you. If you try to follow them in the moment and act in the moment, you're going against the human design recommendations. You'll be acting in an impulsive way. I feel that I've got to do it now. Big trouble. Big trouble. If the life force hasn't been activated, if the energy hasn't let you know through that, through the energy that takes you into doing something from the sacral, you know, your feelings are not going to lead to action. They are going to lead to upset, and they're going to lead to you being exhausted, because these are strong emotions that go through you. So it's not about you following your emotions in the moment. It's about you processing what comes through you as that chemistry moves through you. The first thing is the response. So I hope that's made it a little clearer. And human design is not a religion. It is like a manual for each one of us to recognize in ourselves what is consistent, and also to recognize what is inconsistent and continues to affect us to a greater or lesser degree, depending on our decision making and the way that we mature in the process. Thank you for the question. That was a good question. I'm glad I got a chance to say what I've just said. Thank you. And now our next question from 5Cat, regular, who has asked a question about 2027. Here's her question. What type or types, gates, profiles do you think will have the most difficulty with the upcoming 2027 cross of the Sleeping Phoenix, if they are still fully immersed in the not self? And the second question, what are some of the potential human design charts of post-2027 Rave look like? Will we be able to recognize them from their chart? Okay, 5Cat. Look, if you are still stuck in the not self during this transition, you'll be having a horrible time right now. You know, all gates, all profiles, it's like, oh, all types. Like, it's not going to be like it was. You know, the not self is a very dense way of living. It's highly conditioned. It's people that are identifying with what they're not and getting lost in that and not knowing what is true within themselves. We already know from the boom in AI in the last year, or maybe even quicker than that, what's happened with being able to create videos and avatars and so much editing, so much distortion. We don't know what's true and what's not. We can't believe what's coming through our own screens because it can be manufactured, which is why who do you trust is going to be one of the most important aspects of moving into the future. All the profiles will have trouble. I would say, I mean, it depends on where you are in your life. So those people, in my view, those people that have embraced human design, are experimenting with it, they're going to be able to find their way through as everything begins to break down. They have a better chance anyway. The main thing is they'll know how to make a correct decision. So there's a lot that's going to be breaking down. So there's a lot of people with the open spleen that are going to be really terrified about what's going on, especially the open spleen and the open root together. If you keep on doing what you've been doing and it's not working, you're just going to meet more and more resistance. And that goes for everyone. So yeah, I'm a 1-3. I would say those who can adapt, the third line adaptation, will probably have an easier time, but it can also be very chaotic. And they can be destructive and self-destructive as well, depending on if they're being correct in their decision-making or not. So there's going to be a lot of resistance. I would be looking at, can you feel the resistance in the changes that are happening to you in your life? And what does your true authority say? You know, it may be like expectations in going a particular way, and you're fixed on going that particular way. And because of circumstances or government policy or war or whatever it may be, that's no longer possible. So something else has to come, which means you've got to be open to something else. It's going to be very much a sense of going in. That's the way I see it. You know, there is so much outerness now in the world. There is so much projection out, and the outer world apparently becoming more important, you know, with selfies and people presenting themselves in different ways. And a lot of the ways that they're presenting themselves are not true. They just know how to market, or they know how to play with software, whatever it may be. But those people who are really in their process, it's about going in. This is a chance to rebalance. This is a chance to balance in the things that will begin to break down. So going in, I think, is incredibly valuable. Perhaps one of the most, one of the greatest opportunities of the time coming will hopefully be time for us to reimagine our lives. Now, Ra gave a very dark picture of what's going to happen. We'd be so busy trying to survive, you know, and it'll be really tough. I don't think so. Not for everyone, not from what I've seen. There are people that have already recognized the resistance in the way that the world is trying to move them, or in the geopolitical area, and in the social area, and in the area of food and everything else. And they're getting their lives together in more of communities, but the right kind of communities, because they have shared values. So I also think that shared values is going to be an important part of a happier future for people. So we actually make new alliances, new friends with those people that share values that we now recognize are true for us as well. And I can see a lot of progress can happen along that route. But, you know, you got to wake up to the fact that we're in a time of change, and the not self will not want to recognize that. The not self will shut themselves in their own little world, trying to keep it going for as long as possible. And then it'll probably be too late. You know, this is a time of sheep and wolves. And there's a lot of wolves out there, and they're hungry. And it's really necessary now to wake up. It's important. Ra talked about himself as being a door closer, to let us know that certain things are leaving the world, one of which is inner truth. But inner truth is still in the world for at least another 100 years. So there's no mad hurry in that sense, but it does mean that there is this opportunity to go in still, and also to bear in mind that it is a world cycle change. So don't expect that at 2027 it's all going to change. It's already been breaking down. We go through 2027, it will continue to break down in different ways, but it's not going to be a sudden bang. It's all changed on this day. So the world theme is change, you know, and the world theme is highly individual. There are 3 individual gates in the Sleeping Phoenix. So I guess you could say, well, look, those who are more individual will have perhaps have an easier time, but I can't actually say that, because it depends. It depends what else is there. It's not like all the individuals are suddenly going to be, you know, to come into power or whatever. What people will be looking for will be integrity. What people will be looking to are the people that will lead themselves in their own life. And if you ask them, they will speak from their own experience. They won't try to lead you. They won't try to push you. They will be the role models of themselves, whether they're a sixth line or not. Authenticity is what we can still use as a measure of what we can trust. How the shift into more and more raves being born will affect the open solar plex or the defined solar plex, I'm not sure yet. I have my ideas about it though, but I'm not sure. So for me, it's a time of great experimentation, and I'll be doing what I can to bring greater clarity to that one. Your second question about can we tell through the chart if someone is a rave or not, and how will it change? No, not really. They are nine-centered, or they will be nine-centered, just as we are. We are a transitionary life form from the seven-centered into the nine-centered, the transition through the human process into the ones that can really hold this form better than we can, you know, because it is actually a form for emotional awareness to come through, clear emotional awareness to come through, and the group mind and the connection at a much, much deeper internal level to this reality, which will be their focus. But how would it affect humans? That is the question that I'm pondering. I mean, that's what I care about. I care about my own species at the moment. Well, I also care about animals and birds and other things, but I care about the human process because I'm human. I'm here to help the humans if I can. So this is something that is of great curiosity to me, and I am watching it. I am seeing certain things, but I'm not ready to speak out about it right now. But it's going to be a fascinating time. So just stay with the process and be aware of your own life and how that's changing. And don't be over concerned with all the other gates and all the not self behavior that's out there. We do our best, you know. Not everyone is open to this knowledge. Not everyone is ready to let go of their preconditions of what they think their life should be. So you have to let them go too. And it is just part of the process. All right, viewers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Some interesting questions. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back again very soon with something completely different. I'll see you then. Bye.